Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the NECA Ahab Predator Ultimate Edition reissue. So yeah, this is one of the figures, as you guys know, that I picked up from my most recent Comic-Con, and it was a Predator I was worried I'd missed out on because it had recently sold out online in several places. And yeah, I was a little upset because it was one that looked very, very cool, and I'd been debating for a long time whether or not to get it. So finally have it now, and I want to share it with you guys so we can take a look at it. So taking a look at the box first, this packaging is absolutely awesome. I love this design. Unfortunately, you won't be able to get the figure in this pose. Believe me, the joints won't allow it, but the artwork is really, really awesome nonetheless. So yeah, you've got this very nice image of the character, Predator logo at the top, Ahab Ultimate Edition at the bottom. Then on the side, you have some comic book artwork. This Predator, if you guys don't know, isn't in any of the films. It's actually from the comic books. I mean, that's pretty obvious, to be honest. NECA Real Toys. And then on the other side, got some more comic artwork, which is very, very cool. I might actually track down the comics to read. I've heard the Predator comics are very, very good. They're by Darkhorse, aren't they? Yeah, I think so. Then on the back you have this very, very clever figure photography, which has been composed to look like a comic book itself, and even the descriptions have been put in these nice little comic book speech bubbles. So, as seen in the Fire and Stone comic book series, 30 points of articulation, fabric cape, trophy skull from an engineer, which is this thing here that from the film that ruined the Alien franchise, but we won't talk about that. Engineer gun, which is awesome, and swappable gauntlets, which is interesting. So a lot of accessories that come with this guy. You see you have your usual viewing window with the figure very nicely displayed, and then you have this nice promotional photography image here, which I think is very clever. You can see that they've just sprinkled some sand, found a stone out in the back garden and put it there with a nice backdrop, but it works really, really well. I always wanted to get into figure photography. I really should try it sometime. But anyway, let's get this guy out the box. They always say you should open NECA boxes from the bottom. I don't really know why. Someone could let me know in the comments. So that is the backdrop for any of you that are interested. I'm guessing it's the engineer homeworld. It does have quite a Giga look to it, especially this bit here, and also hello. Yeah, very, very cool. So before we take a look at the figure, I thought we'd go through his absolute plethora of accessories, starting off with whatever this is. I know this is going to sound really dumb, guys, but I actually don't know what the purpose of this is for. I'm guessing it has something to do with keeping the fabric cape clean, as I've noticed that these kind of things tend to come with a lot of fabric figures. But yeah, it's just a little thing they throw in there, but not really interesting at all. So first of all, he does come with 3 interchangeable hands, all in various different positions. You've got this hand, which I believe is for holding the engineer gun, and also the disc. Here you have a hand which is sculpted specifically to hold the staff, and here you just have a scrunched up hand which is for his gauntlets, as if he's about to slash someone. So he does come with an open disc, not a closed version, and there is nowhere to store it on the figures, but it's nice that they include it with him anyway. He comes with his 3-blade swappable gauntlet, but we will get onto that in a moment. He comes with his backpack and cannon, just like the Jungle Hunter, which clips on at the back. We'll get to that in a moment. He comes with his very large staff, and this is quite big. Really pointy one end, then you've got this kind of axe blade thing this end, which is very, very cool. He does also come with a teeny little clip, which I believe you put on his back to clip this onto it, but we'll have to have a look at that. He comes with the engineer gun, which is very, very cool. I love the design of this. It's very Giga-esque. It kind of reminds me of the Batman Tim Burton film, which was it the Tim Burton one, or was it, I can't remember which one it was, but they got him in to do a concept design for the Batmobile, and it did look like this. It had these kind of bits that, it was like two of these either side, and then you had the bit in the middle. But yeah, it looked very, very strange, but so cool at the same time. It's a shame they didn't go with it. But yeah, you got the, what I'm assuming is the trigger here. Then you have the stock and this really large barrel. Yeah, very, very cool. You can't see it on camera, but there is actually the edge of the barrel in there. It's just so dark. But yeah, that's awesome. Then we have the engineer skull, which is an enormous skull. Very, very big skull, actually. Yeah, lots of detail on it. Very, very cool. It's a shame I never was able to get any engineer figures. I might try and find one just to display this guy kicking the crap out of him. And then lastly, you do have his biomask, which even has detail sculpted on the inside, and I love that, the way they've painted the eyes red. It is friction held, so you just kind of slot it into place and it will stay on there. You've got some very nice detail on the front, scratch marks, you know, just to make it look like he's really been in the wars. I love the design of it. I do love how you can see the tusks through it. I think that's quite a cool design. Leave down in the comments below, guys, like, wouldn't it be awesome to actually see this design on film? Like, you know, I think there's a lot of Predators in the comics that would look amazing if they got film adaptations. I think this guy is definitely one of them. So this is the very bare bones look. It's kind of like how he comes in the box. And wow, I mean, wow. This guy, you know, I've had this guy for a couple of weeks now, and I can say without a doubt, he is my favourite NECA Predator. There are just so many things that I love about his design. He's, in terms of body, he is a repaint of the Jungle Hunter. The only thing here that's really different is the head. And, of course, they've added things like the cloak and the skull around his neck, and also the detachable blades, which we'll get onto. The waist piece is slightly different. They've given him some animal fur here, but the armour is the same as the Jungle Hunter, but it's been painted in this really nice gunmetal grey. Just a closer look at the face. You've got all the detail on there. You've got the scars. I really love this. It's almost as if xenomorph blood has just melted this side of his face, and he's even missing a mandrel. And you can see his eye. It is tucked away, but you can see it there. You've got the really nice painted detail in the mouth of the gums and the teeth. Very, very nice. I love the wash they've given the skull. I love all the patterns on the skin. It's got a slight gloss to it. The netting's been painted really, really neatly for the most part, except for this little bit here, but I'm not really going to be fussy about that. Once again, you've got the patterns continuing around the back. Gets darker. You've got a little bit of paint here, which I think that is something. I think it's a bone. I think I've only just noticed that, actually. And then you've got more animal fur around the back. And as I say, you've got this really nice gunmetal grey armour with all the detail in there. Very nice painted feet. All the detail of the gauntlet, and also the wrist gauntlet is openable, which is great. This is the first Jungle Hunter body I have that can actually do this, so that's great. Sadly, no detail on the inside, which is a bit of a shame, but still good. You've got the detail on the top. you've got this very nice rubbery wire. Now, one thing I have noticed is compared to the old Jungle Hunter figure that I used to have, these wires would break constantly because they were quite tough, but this is very soft and flexible, so I have less worry of it breaking. That also goes for the same here, and also the wire on the backpack. So it's nice that they've made that adjustment. You see you've got more detail at the back, and behind the cape you can see where you plug in the backpack, and also this little port here, which is for that little clip-on, which you can't really use with this figure, but I'll get onto that shortly. So in terms of detail, this guy is absolutely amazing. I really like the longer dreadlocks and how he has some of these even tied back in a little bun. And I think it kind of shows that he's much older, like he's been around for a long time, so his dreadlocks have gotten longer and longer. Nice soft rubbery material, so you know they don't hinder the head articulation at all. And in terms of articulation, this figure is absolutely loaded with it. You can bring the arms out, but they are quite stiff. You have a full rotation at the bicep. You have a double joint bend at the arms. You do have a rotation at the wrist. The hands can go forward and back, as well as a full 360. And like I say, the gauntlets do extend, which is awesome. Now, it's the same on this arm, but as I say, I would be careful, because even though this is more pliable, you don't want to move it too much, because you can see it stretches. So just be a little bit careful with this arm, and also when bringing it out, because you have this cable here. So yeah, just be careful with his left arm. You have got a nice ab crunch, so you can push him quite the ways forward and back. You have a rotation at the waist and at the ab crunch here. You can also lean him from side to side, but it is quite tight, which is how I like it. And you can move the head up, down, and do a full 360 if you want to. The legs can kick out. They are slightly hindered by the PVC, so they can't come out too far. There is a leg swivel on both legs, which fully works, which is great. There is double joint bends at the knee, so he can bring his legs right the way back, which is very nice. And lastly, his feet are on ball joints, so you can turn them from side to side, forward and back, and any which way, which gives the figure a great sense of balance, which is great. And also something I like is the feet are a lot tighter than on the older Predators. A lot of the times I'd be standing them and they'd either just fall which way. So because they're tighter, you really can get a good level of balance with this guy. So really like that. So yeah, great levels of articulation, and really love his fabric cape. It's got a nice velvety feel. Now, I should think if you pop the head off, you could remove this if you wanted to. I'm not going to do it, but yeah, if the cape is annoying you and you're not so fond of it, I will say the cape is quite difficult when you're putting his backpack on. You know, you do kind of have to move it more over to one side, which you can do, and I actually really like that look. I like bringing it over to one side a bit. But yeah, this is what he looks like, very unarmoured, so standard. So now we're going to get this guy armoured up. Okay guys, and here he is all armoured up and ready for action. So as you can see, the plasma canister and the backpack does cause a bit of discomfort with the dreadlocks. You either have to push them quite far forward or tuck them away behind here, and it does unfortunately mean that they do stick out. You know, it would be nice if they could flop over like that, but it looks okay. It does sit on there really nicely, and it is articulated, so you can go forward, back, and it is on a ball joint. And you can actually pop the cannon off quite easily, but it's not something that I'm going to be doing. But this does look very, very cool, and I absolutely love this mask, as I've said. I think it looks really, really good on him, and honestly, guys, if I had the money, I would probably pick up 2 of these guys, one to have fully armoured up, and the other one to be more bare bones. But here we have the 3-blade wrist gauntlet, which looks absolutely awesome. A lot of people don't like it. I actually really do. I think it, you know, it just makes for something different on the shelf. And yeah, like you say, just brush his cape off to the side slightly and just make room for the canister, and you've got yourself a very, very awesome looking Predator. I have to say that if I had to choose a Predator that I would want to see on film, it would be this one. I mean, this guy is absolutely awesome. He's definitely my favourite. So just to show you guys how to swap out the hands, just take the hand, and I find it's best to kind of just gently twist until it pops out, and then we'll take the hand that's sculpted to hold the spear, just pop that in. Then you've got his really awesome spear, which can go there. And this hand is more of a closed fist hand, just to go with his gauntlets if you want him in a more slashing pose. And this hand, I'm certain, is sculpted to hold the engineer skull, and also to help him hold the engineer gun. But what it's actually been properly sculpted for is to hold his disc. So you just line the fingers up and the thumb, and boom, he holds it really, really well. So he doesn't, there isn't a closed version of this, as I've said, and there's no storage for it, so they just included it for it just 'cause. And this little peg thing, as I said, clips into the back here, but once again, I really don't see the point, because this is designed to hold a closed version of the spear, and what you would do is you would just clip it on like that. But because he only comes with an open version, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to give him this. But, you know, I suppose you could always just use it for other Predators. But yeah, really, really loving this engineer skull. So, like I say, if you want to go all in with your display, you can just, if it's easier, you can always just remove the gauntlet first, if it makes popping the hand off a bit easier, which it does. So again, just wiggle it on, and then take your gauntlet and clip it back. Now, just something I want to say, guys, if your blades fall out, don't panic. That's fine. They just sit in here like that, and when you attach them, it holds them in place. So you just line up the little ridges, click it on, and that's fine. And your blades should be able to work just fine, which they do. So that's really good design, actually. I'm really, really pleased with that. I have to say, NECA have really knocked this one out the park. So, take your engineer skull. It is a little difficult to put in place, I will say. My biggest complaint with this figure, and a lot of NECA figures, is they don't provide specially sculpted hands to hold accessories. They kind of just repackage the same hands, and because of this, you can't always hold the accessories as well as you like to. But it does the job well enough, and like I say, it's entirely up to you guys how you choose to display him, but I think that looks absolutely awesome. I'm really, really happy with this as a whole. So overall, what do I think of this Predator? Well, like I've said, my absolute favourite. I really, really can't praise this figure enough. You know, I was a bit 50-50 on buying it. I thought, oh, is this a risky decision? Because, you know, NECA Predators can either be okay or really, really bad. but I absolutely love this guy. I love the articulation, I love the sculpt, I love the accessories, I just love everything. And like I said, this guy is a reissue, so I'm certain that they have made improvements from the original version, such as making the cables more softer, making the joints more tighter, and just really improving the paint job as a whole. Now, like I say, don't have the original, so I can't make a comparison with that, but if you guys picked up this figure when it first came out, like in 2018, was it? Somewhere around about there, then it might be worth considering picking up a brand new version that came out more recently. I think it will definitely be worth your guys' time and money. And like I say, if you have two of these guys, you have more options for display. And honestly, there are so many options of display for this guy, it really is difficult to choose. So overall, a solid 9 out of 10. Really, really love this guy. I think the big disappointment, and the only disappointment, is that like with a lot of NECA Predators, the hands aren't really sculpted to hold the accessories, so it can make it a little difficult to pose. But aside from that, I just really, really love this guy, and my biggest problem is deciding how to display him, because, you know, he really is that good. I suppose I could always change it up every now and then, but I really, really love him, and this guy will be taking front and center on my Predator display. So I hope you've all enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a like, share it with your friends because it really does help the algorithm, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Have you got this Predator already? Are you planning on getting him? And if you have the original, are you planning on picking up the reissue? Really love to know what you guys think down below. And just want to say big thank you to all those of you who stuck with me. I know I haven't been uploading as much content regularly recently, but got a few problems with editing, and just time and availability has been a bit slim at the moment. So yeah, hopefully these issues get resolved soon. I hope you guys have a happy and wonderful day wherever you are in the world. Stay safe and happy, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.